Welcome back to the Fit Like Krys podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you are watching on YouTube, please make sure you subscribe. And if you hear something in this episode that really strikes a chord and reminds you of someone, please share it with them. Sometimes one sentence can just like transform your day or your month or your life. You know, there's definitely things I've heard that have just, it was like at the right time that I heard it and it really transformed my life. So don't underestimate the power of a podcast. And if you feel inspired by it, please share it with somebody else. And if you're listening on Spotify, make sure to heart this, download it, save it for later, listen to it on your next walk, or maybe on your next vacation when you're in the airport. Really great way to spend time, by the way, like downloading podcast episodes. This is like a new thing to me, so I'm sorry if some of you who are listening are like, wow, welcome to the future. But when you download episodes beforehand, and like you can listen on the plane. Like I love listening to podcasts like on a plane. Anywho, thank you so much for tuning in to the Fit Like Krys podcast. And today's episode is we're sort of in this theme of letting go. And so my last episode about spring cleaning, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you've started your process. If you haven't listened to the episode or started your spring cleaning process, there's still time. We're still in spring. We got a little ways to go till summer. So you have time to listen to that episode. But today I'm talking about letting go of goals and control. And that's an interesting topic for me because all I talk about are goals, you know, and setting goals and making goals. And I think this is an important episode because of that specifically. And just to bring clarity around the difference between attachment versus commitment when it comes to goals. And it's really not a matter of control because we don't have control. And there's a lot more that we can experience if we let go of it a little bit. But how do you let go of control? Like, how do you let go? How do you create a goal and then let go of it? So that's what I'm going through today. So I'm going to go through 4 different areas to help you let go of your goals and control. So the first thing I want to talk about, and you're definitely going to want to get a piece of paper and a pen here, especially if you feel like if you're a little bit of a control freak. I say freak in a good way. Okay. I love that word. Put me in the freak club. I don't know what that means, but now I'm in a freak club. Okay, great. Control freaks are welcome is all I'm saying. I'm saying it in a positive way. And I like to have control. I like things to be in order. I like to know what's going on. And at the same time, I've learned that if I am too attached to my plan and my goals, it's just a recipe for disaster because life is not on our timeline. We are on life's timeline. So the chance that something is going in our way, like the chance that something goes the way that we want it perfectly is actually such a slim chance in comparison to how many other ways it could go. All right. So goals, letting go of goals and control. The first thing I want to talk about is the difference between attachment and commitment. So how do you know if you're committed to a goal versus attached to a goal? By the way, this hoodie is now available on my website. This is the Happy Hoodie. Okay, how cute is this? Like we did the distressed. If you're not watching on YouTube, I'm like getting up in I'm now recording my podcast via Zoom because my podcast guy, I haven't been able to get him over here. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to do it in my office on my Zoom. Anyway, Happy Hoodie now available from now to, you could order till April 15th. There might be some available after that, but we're doing pre-orders right now. Anywho, attachment versus commitment. That's the problem when I do it on Zoom because I see myself and I'm distracted. How do you know? So like if you're really set on a goal, and you don't want to get distracted, one would ask, how do you know the difference between being committed to a goal and being attached to a goal? Isn't it the same? No, it is not the same. And I'm going to tell you the biggest difference. When you're committed to a goal, that creates confidence. Every day, you're doing something towards that goal. That is creating confidence, right? Attachment creates anxiety. So if you're feeling anxiety around a certain goal, it's really likely that you are so attached to it and you're trying to control it so much that you're just killing it. You're killing it. You're not even giving yourself space to grow because you're just holding on so tight to this desired outcome that you're not allowing for any other possible path to open up. And that's the really cool thing about staying committed to a goal. As you're working towards the goal, you will come up on different opportunities and you'll learn different things. And sometimes, like if you're paying attention, you will intentionally want to switch directions and try something else. But if you're so attached to a specific goal, you might miss out on an opportunity or a direction that actually works better for you. So if you feel anxiety about a goal, you might be going the wrong way. You might be on such a rigid route that it's not going to work. It's going to work in the sense that you might start to see results, but it's going to cause so much anxiety and stress, you're not going to feel good. So then what's the point? What's the point of achieving something, of growing, of making progress if you're causing yourself stress and anxiety? It doesn't have to be that way. There are so many ways to get to the same place. So as you create a goal and as you start to work towards it, I want you to ask yourself that question. Do I feel confident as I'm working towards this goal, or do I feel anxiety? Commitment creates confidence. Attachment creates anxiety. So start to look at that a little bit. Okay, number two, how to let go of goals and control. Number 2, having a daily mindfulness practice. So what do I mean by that? Because mindfulness is a big umbrella. One of the things that causes us to be attached, right, and creates anxiety is because we're attached to a future expectation that it's not even here. And we're so attached to it that it's creating anxiety in today, and it's not even here. Sort of what you're expecting to happen is becoming an excuse sometimes. Sometimes what you're expecting to happen becomes like your excuse of the day. Like you're like, when I have time, when I lose the weight, okay, when I lose the 20 pounds, then or when I clean out my closet, then or when I get rid of this stuff, then or when I get another job, then I'll have time for, when I blah, 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 then I'll break up with. Like we live in this, like this future reality that becomes your excuse for not moving on something now. Right? So you're sort of like out of the present. You're robbing yourself from the present experience because you're like, well, then I'll do this. We're like living in this expected goal that hasn't even and that's why it creates anxiety, because it seems so far away. You're like, yeah, like, when I have the extra time, then I'll do this. But it might never get here. And so like what's happening in the day? So a daily mindfulness practice is something just to bring you back here. It's to bring you back in this moment. It's to bring you back to what's happening today. Mindfulness is just paying attention. And it's something that we have to practice because there are so many distractions that if you don't practice coming back to like today, you will constantly be in the future. And the future is undetermined, which for a lot of people creates anxiety because you don't know. What you do know is where you are, who you are, how you feel today for the most part, right? If you want to have control of something, the most control you're going to have is of today. So something that can help you let go of control is to actually just like bring control that creates anxiety, is to bring yourself to today, and just tomorrow has its own troubles, right? So like just bringing yourself to today by taking 10 deep breaths, by doing a quick yoga class, by doing a 1-minute meditation, by writing down 5 things you're grateful for, like all of these things that kind of bring you in the moment. They might not be like life-changing that one time, but that's not the point. It's the practice of continuing to bring yourself back so that you're not constantly living in this expected reality, right? Like I'll get to that when, like we're kind of almost like living in the future all the time. So think about like what daily things you do that sort of bring you in the moment, and sort of try to create like a little thing that you could do every day that helps with mindfulness. The third thing that's going to help you let go of goals and control is differentiating and kind of redefining how you get towards that goal. Intention. Like I like the word intention, and I like just like picking a word, like instead of a goal, instead of saying, okay, I want to save $20,000 this year, $10,000, 30, that whatever the number is, $1,000. I want to save X amount this year, or I want to pay this amount of debt, or I want to lose this amount of weight. If you get attached to that goal, it's going to create anxiety every day because that goal is so far away. Oh my goodness. So like every day you have that like weight of that big goal. So instead of that, like create the intention. If you're like, let me give you an example. If your goal is to pay down debt, set an intention of doing a daily budget. So like reviewing what you spend each day. Like set an intention of spending less on takeout. Set an intention of putting $50 a week into. So that's so much like that. Not only is it doable, but it's like, I mean, it will give you, that goes back to number one, where like, if you have commitment to that intention, it's going to create confidence in that thing that you're doing every day. It's just keeping you here in the day, and you're working towards that goal. So you can have like a bigger goal, but don't let that thing be in your face every day, right? Like sometimes you'll say like, you'll have the big goal in front of you. Like that's anxiety inducing. It's not, it's one way, like you can try it that way. But if you've done it that way and it hasn't worked, if you've made a New Year's resolution and it hasn't worked, I'm offering you sort of this different idea. All right. And letting go of the goal, doesn't mean that you don't set the goal. Okay. It's a crock pot. Set it and forget it. Set it, but then create, like you need the recipe, right? Like you need the recipe. What are the steps? You can't just, the crock pot doesn't have air in it, right? Like there are things that you do and you put it in there and then it's cooking. It's cooking. Okay, like I don't know if this is a good metaphor, but it felt right. Set it and forget it was the right one. And then I just went left with it. I don't know. But I'm telling you that the goal is something that you can like, all right, I want to lose 30 pounds. Okay. Don't be so fixated on that big goal, because that is going to be you can't accomplish that in a day. What can you accomplish in a day that's going to get you towards that goal? So instead of goal, just swap it out with intention, swap it out with priority, and focus more on priorities and intentions rather than goals. If you feel like you have a control issue and you have more anxiety than confidence when it comes to your goals, take the word goal out of it and make it more of an intention or a priority. And here's the last thing: acceptance versus denial. A lot of times we are so stuck on the story, so stuck on the way that we wanted things to go that we will not accept the way things are. We are so stuck on the way that we think something should look. We're so stuck on the result that we think we should have got based on what we did that we will not accept reality. And when you don't accept reality, you are stuck in this. What's that thing called when, oh, there's nobody here to answer me. This is a podcast. So usually in a class, I get somebody to answer me. You're just in the purgatory. That's it. I think that's it. You're in purgatory. Like you're not going anywhere. Like you're in this. You're going to be in it until you're not. Like at some point, you're going to have to accept it. So instead of wishing you were somewhere else, instead of resisting your life, like sometimes, and that goes back to the when I have the time. No. What time do you have now? Right? Like what time do you have now? Like when my kids are older, then I'll write the book. It's like you have to accept the path that you're on right now and the life that you have right now. And if you are so tied to a fairy tale goal, it doesn't mean that you'll never have it, achieve it, have something more, less in between. That's irrelevant. What today's message is and what this episode is about is that when you're attached too much to something, not only do you miss out on opportunity, but you create anxiety in your life and you're sort of robbing yourself from experiencing the life you were given by waiting for something else to happen or by being so stuck on one thing, so stuck in one way, in one mindset, like it's my way or the highway. Listen, if it's my way or the highway, you're going to be on that highway. You're going to be on the highway alone. You're going to be cruising because there's going to be no traffic. No one wants to be around someone that it's my way or the highway. Like you have to be flexible enough to allow other circumstances to exist. And I know that might sound like obvious, right? Like that might sound like, well, yeah, but a lot of us are not. And I remember like I was like that. Like it'd be like, no, this is the way that it's going to be. There is no other way. This is the way. No, I'm doing it this way. I'm waving a phone charger for all my YouTube watchers. You've got to loosen your grip. Your expectations are just becoming excuses because you are talking in the future and you're not in the future. You remember the Jetsons? We thought we would be flying around in cars and putting a pellet in a microwave when we'd have a whole meal. We're still not there yet. Expectations versus reality. Accepting reality. Accepting that you don't have an extra hour. Accepting that fitness and wellness is not going to look like Melissa Wood Health or whatever her name is, drinking green juice and doing 8 hours and wearing a weighted vest and intermittent fast. Like you might just have time for a 15-minute workout and drinking enough water. You have to accept where you are in order to move forward. That's the message today. Not only accept, but embrace where you are. Commit to something and work on it daily. Commit to something and have the flexibility in your life to allow something else to happen. Like commit to something because you want it, but understand that it might not happen because you want it that way. And that's not an excuse for you to stop. And that's why mindfulness helps too, because mindfulness and taking 10 deep breaths and pausing and all of these things and making it intention versus a goal, these things allow flexibility in your life so you could still make progress and still work towards your goals, but you're not so attached to it. I want you to have less anxiety in your life. I want you to feel good in your day-to-day. How do you do that? Commit to something and do things daily that make sense towards that bigger goal. Okay? Practice something that slows you down for at least a minute a day. Pick a word or create an intention each week that's in line with that bigger goal, and accept where you are and who you are and the body you have and the mind you have and the relationship you have. Stop waiting for the perfect time, the perfect person, the perfect body for you to live your life. Live it today. Live it now. You have control of a lot more if you're accepting of today. So let go of the goals. Create an intention instead. Set a goal, set it and forget it. That's a goal. Set it and forget it. Create the daily intention. See how it changes. Think about something that you've had a tight grip on for a while and you've just been nose down, not even looking up. Maybe it's not working. Maybe you got to stop going that way. The road is closed. You know how sometimes we try to make a relationship, a friendship work so hard and it's just not working. Step back. Sometimes you got to give something space. Step back. That's a whole other episode. Give it a moment. Can't just keep doing that, pounding. I do a lot. I talk with my hands, so it's a problem if you're listening on Spotify. You're like, what's even happening right now? So you want to review? Okay, we're letting go of goals. Goals are setting and forget it. We're not holding on to goals on a daily basis because that's attachment and that's going to create anxiety. So take your attachment, turn it into commitment. Okay, every single day, practice being present with breath work, with meditation, with yoga, with journaling, with setting an intention. And then that helps you to be intentional and create intentions and aim and work towards something instead of just having a rigid goal. And then accept where you are, who you are, and know it's exactly who you're supposed to be and exactly where you're supposed to be. Stop denying who you are and the life you have and the people in your life. Work with your body. Work with the job that you hate. Work in the relationship that's not going so well right now. Work with the perfect A, B, C, D, E. It doesn't exist. How about you just work with what you got and then go from there? Okay? If you can appreciate who you are, where you are, who you have, what you have today, I promise you that it only gets better from here. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the Fit Like Krys podcast. I will see you next week. And remember, happy as FLK, spring summer swag is now out. Shop happy, make yourself happy. Make sure that you donate at least one hoodie before you buy this one. All right, guys, thank you so much. Share this with somebody who needs a little less control and a little more intention in their life. And if that's you, I hope this helped, and I'll see you next time.